You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances, while the township supervisor
Henyard making a late appearance at the Dolton Village Board meeting this evening. That meeting was being held at the Park District building since Village Hall cannot legally.
Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed super mayor of Dolton, Illinois, is running for a second term, but her campaign is far from typical. Facing a barrage of accusations, investigations, and attacks, Henyard is at the center of a political storm. The fury from all sides of her town's politics is quickly turning into a real-life soap opera, with drama unfolding at every turn.
New developments in South suburban Dolton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing.
As a federal inquiry looms over her, Mayor Tiffany Henyard appears to be stepping up her efforts, unapologetically. She claims critics are out to get her, with her latest social media post loudly proclaiming attention, attention, attention. Reactions to her re-election bid have been swift, with Henyard dismissing criticism as part of a larger conspiracy. Despite Dolton's history of scandals since her taking office, it's clear Henyard is ready to fight to the bitter end. The stakes are high, and when the press presses her, there's a massive shakeup unlike anything seen before in the history of the local media. Henyard remains unyielding, refusing to back down.
Shameful! Y'all are a disgrace!
We're watching a fall.
Elected mayor in 2021 with a landslide victory, winning over 80% of the vote, Tiffany Henyard's tenure has been far from smooth. Locals and authorities have labeled her a despot, ruling Dolton with an iron fist. While she's pushed for major changes, her bold approach, particularly her decision to dub herself super mayor, has sparked anger. Critics argue that her actions, while consistent with her role, reflect an audacity that many find troubling, further fueling tension in the community.
That's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel.
Tiffany Henyard has undeniably stirred conflict in Dolton, with the divide between her and both the trustees and residents growing each month. While some see her as a leader unafraid to make tough decisions, many others accuse her of power-hungry antics. At a recent board meeting held at the Hart District building, designed to accommodate the growing number of concerned Dolton residents, Henyard arrived an hour late. She was immediately met with mockery and boos, but she stood her ground, asserting her authority as the mayor of Dolton. According to witnesses, the crowd's discontent drowned her out, but Henyard clung to the microphone, refusing to back down for a full 7 minutes, determined to make her voice heard.
Is it the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for.
Henyard didn't leave quietly. Insiders claim that as she was exiting, she made a last-ditch attempt to accuse the Board of Trustees of corruption. This wasn't the first time she'd stormed out of a meeting, but tension seemed to escalate each time. Just last week, when only 2 trustees showed up to a separate board meeting at Village Hall, Henyard was forced to cancel it, citing illegal gatherings by her rivals. However, she didn't back down. She went on to attend a Park District meeting, where the situation seemed to take a more positive turn for her.
Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard wanted the Board of Trustees to approve some events that she wants the township to pay for, but none of the trustees showed up for this special meeting tonight. That left the meeting canceled. And
Jason House, a longtime Dolton resident and board member for 8 years, is leading a powerful coalition against Mayor Tiffany Henyard. House and his supporters are part of a movement known as the Clean House Slate, a group committed to opposing Henyard's re-election bid. He is not the only one critical of Henyard's leadership, with other trustees also joining the chorus of disapproval. Henyard has vowed to restore order and decency to Dolton, but many in the community believe she has failed to do so, with one trustee stating that the community does not want to continue under her leadership. The public backlash against Henyard has been significant. The criticism stems from several controversial decisions, most notably her handling of a police protection detail that removed officers from the streets at a high cost. Additionally, there are concerns about financial mismanagement, which prompted investigations and legal challenges. C3D, a watchdog group, raised questions about Henyard's use of the police detail and its associated expenses, estimating the cost at thousands of dollars. Henyard, however, maintains that the backlash is politically motivated, coming from those who feel threatened by her efforts to change Dolton's situation. She portrays herself as a lone warrior against a dishonest system and argues that she is the only one capable of truly fixing the issues in the town as Henyard continues to push back against her critics. Residents of Dolton have voiced their discontent through social media and public gatherings, with some comparing the situation to a real-life version of the TV show Parks and Recreation. One of the most recent legal developments involves a lawsuit Henyard filed against several trustees, the Dolton Park District, and the village administrator. She claims they are illegally holding meetings outside of the village hall, undermining her authority. This tactic, while common for Henyard, has sparked additional criticism, with many believing it further complicates the town's political landscape. The FBI is allegedly investigating several aspects of Henyard's administration, including financial mismanagement. Federal agents are reportedly questioning witnesses as part of a broader investigation into Dolton's financial activities, which has only increased attention on Henyard. This follows a report released by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, which revealed that Dolton's finances had shifted from a surplus of over $5 million to a deficit of $35 million during Henyard's tenure. The report also accused Henyard of using the town's credit card for personal expenses, including purchases from Amazon and Target, which racked up thousands of dollars and charges. Public outrage has intensified, particularly due to an extravagant party that Henyard allegedly hosted at a cost of nearly $85,000, paid for by taxpayers. The event featured well-known artists and was criticized as a wasteful use of public funds, especially given the town's financial struggles. One of the most troubling charges against Henyard involves a one-day purchase of over $440,000 on Amazon in January 2023. These large, continuous expenditures have raised serious questions about Henyard's stewardship of Dolton's finances, and residents are increasingly concerned that their tax dollars are being misused despite the mounting evidence and public outcry. Henyard insists that her actions have been misunderstood. She continues to claim that the charges against her are politically motivated and that the criticisms are part of a larger conspiracy to discredit her. Her supporters, however, remain fiercely loyal, convinced that she is the only person capable of addressing the town's problems. Henyard's legal team, led by her attorney Beau Ringley, maintains that the Board of Trustees is attacking her in an attempt to subvert the will of the people, especially since she was elected to lead the town. The situation in Dolton remains highly uncertain as the controversy surrounding Henyard's leadership deepens. The community is divided, with Henyard's critics calling for her removal from office, while her supporters continue to rally behind her. The legal and financial investigations have only complicated the matter, and the potential for a federal inquiry into Henyard's actions adds another layer of complexity in response to the growing pressure. Henyard has portrayed herself as a fighter who will not back down. She is determined to continue her re-election campaign, despite the widespread criticism. However, many residents believe her time in office may soon come to an end. As federal investigators continue to review her financial records and those of her associates, including her boyfriend, the future of Dolton's leadership remains uncertain. The FBI has reportedly served subpoenas to both the Thorne Township and Dolton governments, seeking Henyard's payment and expense records, which could play a pivotal role in any potential charges. Dolton is at a crossroads, with its financial health and leadership under intense scrutiny. As the legal challenges and investigations unfold, residents are left wondering what the outcome will be and whether Henyard's leadership will ultimately lead to her downfall or if she will emerge victorious in the face of mounting opposition. The coming months will likely reveal the next chapter in this ongoing political drama.
Investigated Henyard's use of a police security detail, taking officers off the street and cost.
A judge recently issued a ruling barring Mayor Tiffany Henyard from making important appointments without the approval of the Board of Trustees, particularly after she attempted to designate new officials, including a police chief and village administrator, without consulting the board. Despite the court's clear decision, Henyard has shown no signs of relenting, pushing the boundaries of her authority. The judge issued a temporary restraining order to prevent Henyard from making these appointments without permission, but her actions have continued to fuel tensions within the town. Trustees were quick to protest when they saw Henyard trying to appoint a town attorney and police chief at town hall, a move that one trustee pointed out only served to erode trust in the administration. This has led to growing concerns about Henyard's willingness to flout the court's ruling, with some even questioning whether she is willing to risk jail time to maintain her grip on power. The persistent disregard for legal boundaries has intensified the already tense political environment in Dolton. Henyard's personal life seems to be just as tumultuous as her political career, making it increasingly difficult to separate the two. Jason House, a key opponent, has stated that he intends to restore order to Dolton and is rallying citizens to vote for his slate of candidates in the upcoming election. He views the scandal surrounding Henyard as a sign that Dolton can no longer afford to keep her in power for another 4 years. House has positioned himself as a reformer, promising to address the town's financial issues and bring transparency back to the local government. He and his supporters are gearing up for what they are calling a fight for Dolton's future. Henyard, on the other hand, remains unflinching. In a statement released by her lawyer, she reiterated her claims that the accusations against her are part of a smear campaign orchestrated by her rivals. She insists that she is the one fighting for the people of Dolton and that the trustees are simply trying to undermine her authority. Despite the mounting evidence of poor financial management and the court order restricting her powers, Henyard continues to frame the situation as a politically motivated attack. The financial mismanagement and legal battles surrounding Henyard have only deepened Dolton's political crisis. A federal investigation into her administration is ongoing, adding another layer of complexity to the situation. The investigation is reportedly focused on allegations of funds being diverted from public services for private use, a claim that, if true, could further tarnish Henyard's reputation. The FBI has not publicly confirmed or denied the investigation, as is their policy, but insiders suggest things are not looking good for the mayor. Public discontent has been growing in Dolton, and Henyard's re-election campaign has only served to heighten tensions. The ongoing investigation into her activities, combined with the legal restrictions on her authority, has left many questioning what the future holds for Dolton under her leadership. As the controversy deepens, residents are left wondering how much more drama the town can endure. Jason House, along with his supporters, has continued to push for a change in leadership, emphasizing the need for transparency and fiscal responsibility. He has made it clear that Henyard's leadership has caused enough damage to Dolton's finances and political stability. He is determined to unseat her and promises to restore order to the town. His slate of candidates is positioned as the solution to the town's woes, offering a stark contrast to Henyard's controversial tenure. Henyard's supporters, however, remain loyal, and she is not going down without a fight. She continues to portray herself as the only one capable of bringing change to Dolton, despite the mounting evidence against her. Her legal team insists that the charges against her are baseless and that she is the victim of a concerted effort by her rivals to undermine her leadership. Henyard's refusal to back down from her re-election campaign, despite the growing legal challenges, has led many to question her political judgment and whether she can effectively lead Dolton. Moving forward, the political climate in Dolton is in disarray, and the future of the town hinges on the outcome of the upcoming election. With a federal investigation and court orders restricting her authority, Henyard's leadership has become increasingly untenable. Yet, she remains steadfast in her belief that she is the rightful leader of Dolton, and that her critics are simply trying to bring her down. The stakes are high, and the charges against Henyard, ranging from financial mismanagement to potential corruption, are taking center stage in the race for Dolton's future. The outcome of this election could have long-lasting implications for the town, and its residents are keeping a close eye on how the situation unfolds. Meanwhile, the FBI's involvement in the investigation has brought further attention to Henyard's actions. According to reports, federal agents are looking into allegations of financial theft, with claims that funds intended for public services were misappropriated for personal use. These allegations have sparked further public outcry and have become a significant point of contention in the election campaign. Henyard's refusal to address these concerns directly has only added to the sense of distrust in her administration. Despite the serious nature of the charges, Henyard continues to maintain that she is being unfairly targeted. Her public relations firm has stated that neither Henyard nor the village of Dolton has received any subpoenas or been contacted by the FBI or other law enforcement agencies. But the fact that federal officials are reportedly investigating the matter shows just how serious the situation has become as the investigation into Henyard's financial activities continues. Dolton finds itself at a crossroads. The town is deeply divided, with supporters and opponents of the mayor bracing for a pivotal election. The outcome of this election could determine not only the future of Henyard's political career, but also the future of Dolton itself. The residents of Dolton are watching closely, knowing that the decisions made in the coming months could have a lasting impact on the town's future. Tiffany Henyard of Dolton has faced mounting accusations of financial mismanagement and corruption, with allegations ranging from small expenses to extravagant shopping sprees and lavish parties featuring famous performers, all allegedly funded by the town's bank account. While Henyard's team argues that the township had a $2 million deficit years ago, and under her administration, there is now a surplus of over $6 million. The accusations against her have been hard to ignore. Documentation has surfaced supporting claims of extravagant spending, including a report detailing the use of public funds to host an $88,500 party. Financial review by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, hired to assess Dolton's finances, painted a troubling picture of Henyard's leadership. The report found that Dolton's general fund, once boasting a surplus of over $5 million, has now plunged into a deficit of nearly $4 million under Henyard's watch. Some of the questionable spending includes large purchases from online retailers like Amazon and Target, which critics argue were unnecessary. One particular transaction stands out: a $333,000 shopping spree, sparking further questions about Henyard's financial management. At the same time, Henyard announced on Facebook that she is running for re-election, despite being under investigation for her handling of the town's finances. Her team insists that everything is above board and that these attacks are purely politically motivated. However, the evidence against her continues to pile up, and many of her critics are calling for accountability. The investigation into Henyard's actions is being led by Lori Lightfoot, and it has revealed even more concerning information. One key issue is Henyard's alleged practice of awarding lucrative contracts to close friends and family members, bypassing normal procurement procedures. These contracts have raised eyebrows as they appear to benefit her inner circle. Further fueling accusations of corruption, the investigation took a dramatic turn when Henyard's lover reportedly became involved. Rumors suggest that he testified against her in court, revealing damaging secrets that were previously unknown. Insiders claim the testimony connected Henyard to bribes from local contractors, further tarnishing her reputation. Witnesses in the courtroom describe Henyard as furious, visibly upset by the betrayal, and attempting to interrupt the proceedings. Despite her outbursts, the damage was already done, and the revelation seemed to shake the core of her administration, adding to the drama. Henyard is suing several trustees, further deepening the rift within Dolton's leadership. The accusations of corruption have not been taken lightly, and Henyard's intimate partner's testimony only adds more fuel to the fire. Allegations have emerged that Henyard accepted bribes from developers in exchange for contracts and permits, though the specifics of these deals remain unclear. Insiders claim that these kinds of conversations happen frequently during Henyard's time in office, with some of her close friends and family advising her to be more cautious about how money was being spent. Henyard, however, dismissed these concerns. Continuing her practices despite the growing scrutiny, the legal troubles have only escalated. In a recent ruling, a judge issued an order prohibiting Henyard from making appointments without the approval of the Board of Trustees, effectively undermining her authority. Despite this, Henyard has shown little regard for the court's decision, continuing to push forward with her own appointments, including selecting a new village attorney and police chief. Despite the board's opposition, the tension between Henyard and the Board of Trustees has reached a boiling point, with Henyard continuing to make decisions unilaterally, even though her actions have been legally restricted. During a recent board meeting, she confronted trustees about money and expenses, accusing them of spreading false information. The accusations of corruption and disregard for legal and procedural protocols have left the town in a state of political disarray. In addition to her defiance of the court order, Henyard has also been criticized for delaying important village matters in favor of her personal agenda. Even after it became clear that the court had ruled against her, witnesses claimed that Henyard's appointees, some of whom included the village administrator, were seen attending meetings at Village Hall. Further fueling the controversy, the ongoing investigation, along with the court's ruling and the growing public outrage, has left Dolton in a state of uncertainty. With Henyard's re-election campaign underway, the town's political future hangs in the balance. The evidence against Henyard continues to mount, and many residents are questioning whether her leadership can be trusted moving forward. The allegations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and the involvement of her closest associates in questionable activities have made it difficult for Henyard to shake the perception that her time in office has been marked by scandal and controversy. As the investigation unfolds and the election draws near, Dolton residents are left to wonder how much longer they will have to endure the drama surrounding Henyard's leadership. The outcome of the election will likely determine the future of the town and its ability to recover from the turmoil caused by Henyard's administration. With the mounting evidence and legal challenges, It remains to be seen whether Henyard will be able to regain control of the narrative or if her opponents will succeed in ushering in a new era of leadership for Dolton.
We made sure they had won, and we also told our board to come upstairs due to the fact they had several ways.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard's tenure in Dolton has become embroiled in controversy, with legal and political battles intensifying as she faces mounting accusations of financial mismanagement, corruption, and defiance of the law. Despite a court order restricting her actions, Henyard continues to act as if she has unchecked authority, sparking further outrage and speculation about her political future. The latest chapter in the ongoing saga involves her continued refusal to adhere to legal rulings and accusations that her administration is fraught with shady dealings and misconduct. One key point of contention is Henyard's alleged disregard for a court's ruling, which explicitly prohibits her from making certain appointments without the Board of Trustees' approval. Henyard has pushed ahead, making appointments such as the selection of a new village attorney and police chief, despite the court's order. This blatant disregard for the law has stoked the flames of controversy, with some speculating that the court may ultimately have to hold Henyard in contempt to enforce its ruling, adding to the complexity of the situation. A former employee, William Moore, has caused further disruption. Moore, who was laid off from Village Hall, continues to show up at meetings, raising suspicions about his access to private information and potentially unauthorized credentials. This has led to concerns about the security of Dolton's internal systems and whether sensitive information is being accessed or misused. Although no formal accusations have been made against Moore, some authorities believe that Henyard may have granted him or others access codes that they shouldn't have, exacerbating fears of security breaches in the town's government. Henyard's inner circle, including some of her closest supporters, also seems to be under scrutiny. Michael Dotz, a figure often seen at board meetings alongside Henyard's legal team, is rumored to be involved in shady activities. His connections to Henyard's administration and influence within her circle raise questions about the true nature of her political operations. Additionally, the ongoing legal battles surrounding Henyard's actions, particularly the nomination of Angela Lockett, further hint at possible behind-the-scenes dealings that have yet to fully come to light. Lockett, a controversial figure in Henyard's administration, has been vocal about her desire for a specific appointment, adding fuel to the fire surrounding the mayor's actions. Despite these escalating issues, Henyard remains defiant, presenting herself as a victim of a politically motivated attack. She has taken to social media with cryptic messages, calling on her supporters, whom she refers to as her black sheep, to stand by her side. Henyard has also urged her followers to attend village meetings to support her in what she calls her fight against corruption, positioning herself as a champion for the people of Dolton. Ironically, her opponents argue that she is the embodiment of everything wrong with Dolton's political system, accusing her of perpetuating the very corruption she claims to fight. Meanwhile, federal investigators are reportedly delving deeper into Henyard's financial activities. Federal agents have been seen at Village Hall on multiple occasions, scrutinizing appointments and financial records and speaking with staff members. Rumors abound that subpoenas have been issued to individuals within Henyard's administration, including her family members, as part of an ongoing federal investigation. The investigation is focusing on her spending patterns, including allegations of misuse of taxpayer funds for personal or inappropriate expenditures. This heightened scrutiny has also brought into question the use of public resources under Henyard's leadership. According to insiders, federal agents are investigating her alleged use of taxpayer dollars for out-of-town trips and other questionable expenditures, with surveillance reportedly being used as part of the investigation. The ongoing federal inquiry, combined with the court's rulings and the increasing public outcry, has placed Henyard under significant pressure. Despite the legal storm brewing around her, Henyard remains determined to maintain her position and has launched a re-election campaign, proclaiming on social media that she may be down, but she is certainly not out. Her defiant stance has only fueled the divisiveness within Dolton, and her campaign is expected to be one of the most controversial in the town's history. Henyard's pledge to bring accountability and transparency back to the village government is being met with skepticism, especially given the growing evidence of financial mismanagement and potential corruption under her leadership. On the other side of the political divide, Jason House, a vocal critic of Henyard, is rallying his supporters to back his clean house slate in the upcoming election. While it is still unclear whether House can unseat Henyard, his campaign has gained traction as he capitalizes on the dissatisfaction with Henyard's leadership. House has positioned himself as a reform candidate, promising to address the town's financial issues, restore transparency, and clean up the political corruption that many residents believe has become entrenched under Henyard's leadership. He has enlisted the support of former officials and community leaders who share his frustrations, further strengthening his position as a viable alternative to Henyard, with both sides gearing up for a bitter battle. The upcoming election is poised to be a turning point for Dolton. The stakes are higher than ever, as Henyard must contend not only with her legal and political troubles, but also with the growing dissatisfaction among residents who are increasingly questioning her ability to lead. The FBI's investigation into her financial activities, combined with the ongoing legal battles and allegations of corruption, has cast a dark shadow over her re-election bid as the campaign heats up. Henyard will face the difficult task of convincing voters that she is still the best choice for Dolton, despite the overwhelming evidence against her. At the same time, her opponents, led by Jason House, will continue to push for change, hoping to capitalize on the growing sense of frustration among the town's residents. Whether Henyard can hold on to her position and win a second term remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the controversy surrounding her leadership will have a lasting impact on Dolton's political landscape for years to come.